Child, American Horror Story, darling. It's getting real good. It's getting real good. This is one show. This show and Greenleaf is probably the two shows that I can say that it gets better and better each episode. Yeah. The only American Horror Story that I wasn't really into was the Roanoke, whatever it's called. They was doing documentaries and about the house, and I went into that one. They could have kept that one. What's another one they could have kept? I think that's pretty much the only one. Hotel was kind of like back and forth for me. But yeah, they definitely could have kept that Roanoke one. That was tied and through. But this Apocalypse, everything. Okay, so you know they sent Shebley, I believe that's his name, played by Billy Porter, and Madison Montgomery, played by the one and only Emma Stone. Y'all, I slept on my glasses, child. They cricket. Damn it. I think they're cricket. Yeah, they're a little off. Shit, it's always something. Okay, that's better. That's better, right? Well, y'all tell. Maybe a little bit. Anyway, well, I got to see him. I got to wear them because, you know, my vision is tied and through. Anyway, so Shibley played by Billy Porter and Madison played by Emma Roberts. You know, they pretty much have to act like they're a couple. So they do, and they end up talking to the landlord, and they end up pretty much buying the murder house because, you know, they were sitting on a mission by Cordelia, and Shibley went on his own accord to go and check out Michael Landon because they having some issues with Michael Landon. They don't really know what the hell going on with Michael Landon, but they just know that there's something up. Let me turn this off. Did y'all see anything? If you did, Merry Christmas. So anyway. Yeah, they're going to the house to see that. They basically bought the murder house. They tried to act like there was a couple and all this other kind of shit. Nobody buying that, whatever. But they ended up getting the house. They ended up walking in. Y'all saw that black they had on. They were snatched. Madison and Billy Porter were snatched to the gods with their outfits. I was living for it. So, you know, the guy warned them. He was just like, there's been about 36 killings, 36 deaths in this home. You still want to buy it. And most of the time, when it comes to things like that, people don't tell you. You know, like the real estate agent or whomever it is, it's you know, that you can really get the house from, or apartment, whatever. A lot of times they don't tell you about what happened in the house. You know, what happened to the previous owners. If somebody actually died in the home, if there was, you know, blood just splattered out every room because people getting, you know, chopped up and stuff. They don't tell you about that. But he actually told them. I was just like, I appreciate that. But of course they witches, you know, they got it. So their whole goal of going to this house was to pretty much just, you know, just figure out what's going on with Michael Landon. This is where he came from, the murder house. Now, I told y'all a while back that I did not watch the murder house season, which is, I think, the first one. I didn't watch it. I'm going to go and watch it. I think I'm just going to watch it on Amazon Chime or something. So, yeah. So, anyway, they get up in there. They was just like, look, we got to get these spells together. So, they went up in there. it was very weird because as soon as they walked in, they started to walk up the steps, and the door slammed behind them on its own. For me, I would have left then, but they got a mission to do. Plus, like I said, they're witches. Witches, warlock, whatever, witches. So they walked up there. Billy Porter, he took some shit he took out of a jar and put it in a cup, mixed it around with a little voodoo magic. Then he cut himself, old nasty deep cut, and then put his own blood in there. Then they said some kind of spell, and all of a sudden they were in the murder house. We saw somebody walk by, scared the shit out of Madison and me. And then they get to walk and they see these twins running down the steps. Child, they burnt up, caught on fire. I was just like, Lord have mercy, Jesus. So then, they decide to go down the steps, and they notice a ball. And the ball goes across the floor, and Madison picks up the ball. All of a sudden, this wild boy attacks her. I thought it was Darwin from the Wild Thornberries. But it was actually this boy who was, who he looked like. He looked like he was just really messed up. He had some kind of disorder, whatever. He looks exactly like the Hills Have Eyes people. That's who he looks like. And then with that, we end up meeting what's her name? Billy Dean. Not Billie Jean, not Michael. Not Michael Jackson, but Billie Dean. And she is like a Hollywood medium, darling. And of course that's played by Sarah Paulson. Sarah Paulson works. You hear me? You got to be some kind of talent to do all these different roles. It is amazing to me. Like, just sitting back and just watching her work, I'm just like, wow. Sarah Paulson is an incredible actress. She really, really is. Ended up meeting her, and it was just like, this is actually one of the nicest of the few. She was like, you don't want to meet some of the rest of them. Just like, what y'all doing here? And they explained why we're here. It was just like, child, we trying to figure out where the hell is Michael Landon? Who is Michael Landon? What's going on with Michael Landon? And she was just like, child, we don't speak that name in this house, child. Billy Porter and Madison ended up going into a room. There was a therapist talking to a young man. The young man being played by Evan Peters. I think the young man name is Tate, I believe. And the therapist's name is something Montgomery, I believe. But anyway, these people are dead, but they talking to them, right? They done stepped into their world. So it's just their ghosts and spirits and stuff still walking around, acting normal. You can feel them, you can touch them like they're real people, but they're actually dead. Madison was just like, yeah, we know who you are, talking to the therapist. And Tate, it was just like, yeah, we know, what's your tea too and what happened to you. Apparently the therapist, he got, what did he get? He got, his wife died during childbirth. And so his way of coping with it is that he masturbate, like looking out the window crying 8 times a day. And how he died was, I believe he killed himself in the tub. Something like that. And just a mess. And Tate, Evan Peters' character, he somehow killed the girl that she's interested in. He accidentally killed her mother, or he had a baby with her mom. Some shit. Some crazy. It was just a lot of little random details. I tried to write down everything possible, but I wanted to get this review out. So yeah, it's craziness. But who ended up walking down the goddamn steps, child? The one and only Jessica Lange, darling. And she is Mother Constance Langdon, darling. I was just like, I'm here for it. Cigarette, southern slang, hair curved up, poofed up to the side, just giving moments. She was just like, I'm Constance Langdon. And this is my fucking house. I was just like, come on down the steps, sis. They sat down and start talking. It was just like, look, we trying to figure out and we need to know about Michael Landon. And they was just like, ooh, child, we don't talk about Michael Landon, child. You got nothing to do with her. We ended up meeting the maid, played by, Aunt Myrtle. And, the maid talking shit to Constance and coming at her saying you ain't nothing and you ain't shit. You ain't nothing but a drunk and an alcoholic. The same thing, right? You ain't nothing but an alcoholic and a smoker. And you mad about how your life turned out. And, I enjoy giving your husband pleasures down in the basement. I was just like, Lord have mercy. It's interesting to see... well, then, it was Fiona and Myrtle. It's interesting to see them, back together again. They have very, interesting scenes together. It's funny, watching them going back and forth, these two, older, white ladies who are of, upper echelons and just giving shits and giggles and reads and stuff. Is funny. And, it's very much so, Jessica Lange's the top dog, but Aunt Myrtle's also a top dog in her own right. And so she, she just don't take no shit off of her, and I love it. So Jessica Lange was just like, look, if you talk to, if you get this heifer out of here, this, my maid, if you get this tired heifer out of here, I'll tell you everything you need to know about Michael Landon. So Madison and Chablis, they trying to figure out how are they going to get rid of the lady, because they really need to know what's going on with Michael Landon, because this mother finna take over the world. So they decide to they ended up getting her bones, digging up sister girl bones, and she was buried on the property. So they ended up getting her bones, and they grabbed her bones and handing it to her. And she said, there's only one place I wanted to be buried, and she got buried right beside her mama. And it was beautiful. She apologized to her mom because apparently she had to pull the plug on her mom. She was in a nursing home, and she was just like, I killed you, and I just want to apologize to you for that. It was beautiful, in a weird way, seeing that. I was just like, oh. So, child, we get back to the house. And Jessica Lange decided to tell them finally about Michael Landon, since they did something for her. And she was like, well, let me tell you about my grandson, child. It was like a grandson. She was like, yeah, child. The gentleman that you met in the beginning, that's my son. Okay? And that makes, and Michael Landon is my grandson. But we find out a little later on that Michael Landon is not actually biologically her birth son, but they just kind of took him on, But anyway, apparently Michael Landon's mother was the one that died during birth, to that damn demon. And she was gone, child, and she ended up, Constance ended up raising the child. She was just like, he was a good child, he was a beautiful baby. But then as he started to get older, she started to notice things. She started to notice, in his crib, tore up flies without wings. In his crib now, as a baby, in his crib now. She started to notice that. And, she said as he got older, she started to notice small rodents and stuff. He would just leave these dead creatures all around the house. He'd be done stabbed them and all kinds of stuff. Then as he got a little older, he moved on to cats and dogs and started hanging cats and dogs up in her kitchen. And, just blood splattered out. Didn't bother mopping it up, nothing. Just every time she woke up, it was another animal that was on her damn ceiling. So what she did was she took the carcass and she buried it. She planted a rose tree. Because, roses is her favorite flower. So this is what she did to kind of deal with the pain. But it got, and then, she was just like, okay, this shit getting more and more crazy. Until, one night he actually was over her and was choking the hell out of his grandma. It was just like, you can't own me anymore. And then he finally stopped choking her, like he finally came to his senses and realized what he was doing. And, he asked for a drink of water. She got a drink of water, child. And then at that moment, that's when she was just like, okay, your ass crazy. I need some hired help now. Child, don't you know she gonna get the pastor, the bishop, the church house, for the church house, Mr. Preacher Man. Don't you know when Landon was in there playing the game, she came back in there to check on him. He done stabbed the preacher man. The son of a preacher man. He done stabbed the preacher man. I say, damn. Landon ain't no damn joke. Like, really. Like, for real, he ain't no joke. So, that was crazy. I was just like, Lord, what's wrong with him? She was just like, yeah, I can't do nothing with his ass. So, and she, started to fear for her life. Jessica Lange, the grandma. Constance. She started to fear for her life, and she was just like, yeah. I don't really know what's going on here, but I ain't fooling with you. Your ass dangerous. So she decided to pretty much commit suicide because she felt like she was next. She felt like he was gonna kill her, and which he probably would have. So she ended up just drinking herself to death and popping pills and drinking. She put on a little music. She was twerking, drinking and popping pills, and she went off into her sleep. And then when she woke up around all her kids. Apparently, she felt like she was brought here to be a mother. She was a mother to 4 kids. I don't think any of them was like biologically hers, but whatever. Somehow or another, they all became her kids, and she just pretty much, she was dead. She was dead and gone. Let's see, and that was pretty much her story. So, and apparently, Landon, he wasn't like actually like, he didn't actually have parents. He was just like born of the house somehow. But I'm guessing that's why he killed his mother, when she was giving birth, because he's the devil's son pretty much, the Antichrist. So let's see. They ended up talking to the guy who'll be whacking off by the door every day. And talking to him, she was just like, yeah, I raised Landon as my own son. He actually did have a son, I believe, which was Tate. So I think that Tate, Evan Peters, is actually Jessica Lange's grandson, like for real, I think. Anyway, so it was just like, yeah, I raised him, as my own. And, there was a scene where he was playing with a baseball glove, and that was Tate's baseball glove. Tate was just like, you're a monster, and don't you ever come up here touching my stuff again. If you do, it's on and pop. And Landon started crying. His feelings was hurt. But, everybody knew that Landon had this evilness that was in him. He started to notice, like, evil stuff from Landon. But he tried his best to cope with it. And actually, when Jessica Lange, before she killed herself, overnight, Landon got 10 years older. Just overnight. See, all these people with these different signs, and it just gets worse and worse. All I need is one sign. All I need is as soon as at the beginning, before they started talking about Michael Landon, any of them, at the beginning when Billy Porter and Emma Roberts walked up in there and that door closed on its own. See, I would have been done then. But see, everybody needs proof. They need to see the dead person right in front of their eyes to know, oh, maybe I should let this shit go. So anyway, he was talking about that. There was actually a moment where the house was sold. They sold the house, and Michael Landon, he was dressed up as the black thing that killed everybody at at the beginning of the series of Apocalypse. Like the sex demon who had sex with Evan Peters and was in the room when the white boy and the black girl was having sex or whatever earlier, on some episodes. So he was actually, dressed up as the black thing, and he came in, and it was a lesbian couple bought the house. He ended up killing them instantly. It was just like, they're good people. Why don't you give them a chance? He was just like, I don't give a damn. Child, he ended up, their souls ended up coming out their body because, if you kill somebody at the murder house, their souls are constantly there now. So they ended up getting up, and he set their ass on fire. And at that point, he was just like, yeah, I can't, I got to go. I can't do nothing with your ass. So somehow or another, we ended up meeting the Church of Satan ended up showing up. We had the pastor there, and we had his two cardinals, his two subjects. One was Miss Meat, Kathy Bates, and the other one was Naomi Grossman, I believe that's her name. But anyway, she played Pepper on Circus of American Horror Story. So I remember her. It was just like, oh my gosh, we're in the presence of greatness. It was just like, it's always crows flying around. Some flying high, some down low, dead on the ground. It was just like, this house is built on the pits of hell. So basically, if you cut this house in half, you're going to see hell down there. It's going to be people waving at you that you know. So it was just like, you need to come with us, etc. He ended up accepting it, coming with them. But they needed a sacrifice to, I guess, complete the mission, to know if it's real, or to make him, for people to know that he's really the real thing, the son of the devil, pretty much. So Kathy Bates, she was just driving Rainy one night. There was this girl at a bus stop. She ended up picking her up, some random girl. And the girl got in, and, as they was driving, she noticed that there was an upside down cross, which means the devil. So she was just like, never mind. I think I'm alright. I think I'm gonna walk, child. Kathy Bates was just like, child, you ain't going nowhere. She ended up sticking her with a needle, child, and that pretty much put her ass to sleep, paralyzed the child. Before you knew it, child, that poor girl was up on the table, stretched out, with all three of them around her and Michael. And they cut that girl open and reached in and snatched her damn heart out. Michael Landon ended up eating the heart, and all of a sudden there's a figure of the devil behind them. That scared the shit out of me. I was like, nope. Craziness. Complete craziness. They was just like, oh hell, the devil, etc., etc. So I don't know. Something must have happened to Peppa and the bishop at some point, because it just ended up being Miss Meat still alive and still there with him. But because Landon's so powerful and so strong, maybe he got rid of them on purpose. He wanted to keep Miss Meat around, to be raised kind of like as his mother. So I don't know. Slowly but surely, it's you're starting to connect the dots. I need some water. It's way back there. I ain't getting it. So yeah, that shit that was work. That was serious. What else is going on? So let's see. At the end, Madison ended up bringing Tate and the girl who's in the coven. I never know any of her name. Any character that she plays, I never get her name. I don't know why. I don't know, because she's like one of the main characters and she's a great actress. But it's just her names are never nothing like simple or easy. Is it Evie? Edie? Something like that? Just call her Keisha or something. Like, it's just like, please. She never has like easy names to know. Like, it's just always something kind of slightly off, so you keep forgetting it. Versus just like a normal name. Everybody else, for the most part, have kind of normal names. So I just be like, why don't she get it? Get it, girl, on Norma Lane. But anyway, she never liked Tate because she, was against him because of all the things he did with her mother, etc., etc. Her mother actually talked to Billy Porter and Madison about everything, and it was just like, yeah, he's the devil. You really need to know what you're doing when you're dealing with Landon, child. They don't even speak Landon's name in the house, child, because everybody's scared of him. So she ended up getting Tate and Lil Evie, or whatever her name is, together. And, they came together. We saw a little softer side from Madison. And their mission was pretty much over. Madison and Chablis, they pretty much had all the information they needed. That Landon was the devil, and we don't know what to do. And now Billy Porter, he sees it for himself that Landon, is indeed the devil. And so, they just wanted to be on top, warlocks, because warlocks have less power than witches. He was just seeing it in that state. But shit getting ready to get real now. So I don't know. All the witches and all the warlocks got to come together to try to defeat Landon. It's going to be a mission. We shall see. But I think he's going to kill all the warlocks off. I do. We're going to see, child. With that said, I'm Mr. Chalaki. Mr. Chalaki on Google Plus. Follow me at ItsKingsWorld on Instagram and Twitter at ItsKingsWorld89 on Snapchat. Chase King on Facebook. All that good stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. Bye. Is that Mariah? Mariah.